The learning outcomes for Chapter 6 are: explain why teachers must understand educational politics. 2. Explain how local communities influence schools. 3. Describe the powers and the influence of states related to school governance. 4. Explain how regional education agencies assist schools. 5. Explain how the federal government influences education. 6. Describe the role of teacher leaders in school governance. 7. Explain how schools are financed in the United States. And 8. Describe trends in funding for educational equality and excellence. Why do we need to understand educational politics? Educational politics refers to how people use power, influence, and authority to affect instructional and curricular practices within a school or a school system. Political influences on the schools are parents. The parents who are concerned with controlling local schools so that the quality educational programs are available to their children. 2. Students. Concerned with the policies related to freedom of expression, dress, behavior, and curricular offerings. 3. Teachers. Concerned with their role in school reform, improving working conditions, terms of employment, and other professional issues. 4. Administrations. Concerned with providing leadership so that the various interests groups, including teachers, participate in shared governance of schools and the development of equality educational programs. 5. Taxpayers. Concerned with maintaining an appropriate formula for determining local, state, and federal financial supports of schools. 6. Federal, state, and local authorities concerned with the implications of court orders, guidelines, and legislative mandates related to the operation of schools. 7. Ethnical and racial groups concerned with the availability of equal educational opportunities for all and with legal issues surrounding administrative certification, terms of employment, and evaluation. 8. Educational theorists and researchers concerned with using theoretical and research-based insights as the basis for improving schools at all levels. 9. Corporate sector concerned with receiving from the schools graduates who have the knowledge, skills, attitudes, and values to help an organization realize its goal. And 10. Special interest groups concerned with advancing educational reforms that reflect particular religious philosophies and economic points of view. How does the local community influence schools? 1. By local school districts. Local school districts vary greatly in regard to demographics such as number of school-age children, educational, occupational, and income levels of parents, operating budget, number of teachers, economic resources, and the number of school buildings. 2. By the school board. The school board, acting as a state agent, is responsible for the following: approving the teachers, administration, and other school personnel hired by the superintendent, developing organizational and educational policies, and determining procedures for evaluating programs and personnel. And lastly, superintendent. The superintendent is a key figure in determining a district educational policies. The Board of Education delegates board powers to the superintendent, but his or her policies require board approval. What powers and influences do states have in governing schools? The roles of state government in education. Various people and agencies play a role in operating the educational system within each state. Although state governments differ, the state legislature, the state courts, and the governor have a direct, critical impact on education in each state. The state courts. From time to time, courts are called on to uphold the power of the legislature to develop laws that apply to schools. The state courts must determine, however, that this power does not conflict with the state constitution or the U.S. Constitution. It is important to remember, too, that the role of the state courts is not to develop laws, but to rule on the reasonableness of laws that apply to specific educational situations. The governor. Although the powers of the governor vary greatly from state to state, a governor can, if he or she chooses, have a great impact on education within the state. The governor may appoint and or remove educators at the same state, and in some states, the governor may even appoint the chief state school officer. The state of board education. Acting under the authority of the state legislature is the highest educational agency in the state. Every state within the exception of Wisconsin. Most states have two separate boards, one reasonable for elementary through secondary education and other for higher education. Chief State School Officer. The Chief State School Officer is the chief administrator of the State Department of Education and head of the State Board in Education. Although the specific responsibilities of the chief state school vary from state to state, most individuals in this position hold several responsibilities in common.